Welcome back to my channel, guys. My name is Raggy Rog, and today I am bringing you a tier list in which I am going to be rating Pokemon starters. Yes, I have done that before, but with a twist in today's episode. Last time I rated the Pokemon starters, it was just based on my general favorites for any old reason. Today's episode, I am going to be rating the starters based on their shiny form and which ones I like the best. So this could be for any general reason, but I am going to be focusing on the quality of their shiny form, and my decisions are not going to be based on which Pokemon is my favorite otherwise. So, as an example, I love Charmander, but hypothetically, if I think his shiny form is kind of crappy, then he's going in a relatively low one. So, pretty easy to follow. Anyways, ranked from S through to D for any reason regarding the shiny form specifically. Which are my favorites? Let's find out. So, in the order that we see them, we start with Bulbasaur, and Bulbasaur is going to go straight into B. I don't hate it, I don't love it. I have kind of a beef, if you will, with green shiny Pokemon. It's something I noticed is there are a lot of shiny Pokemon that are green, and it's not that interesting to me. It's rarely ever that interesting, especially when it's like a already green Pokemon going from the same color to a different shade, if not almost exactly the same. But Bulbasaur, as the first Pokemon in the Dex, is also the first example of a green shiny type, and it's just not interesting to me visually. Charmander, who we mentioned before, I'm going to tell you right now, it's actually really bad. He's a lighter shade of orange. He's like a yellow-orange, where his typical color is actually just regular old orange. And that's not interesting to me. Not even a little bit. It's kind of lazy to me. I like the idea of shiny Pokemon being kind of special in some fashion, but if they are so similar to their original appearance, well, then there's not much to get excited about. You can tell kind of at a glance that he's different, but it's not that exciting. I would say Bulbasaur is more interesting. Okay, we are going to put Chespin into B. Chespin is, well, unlike Charmander, visually a lot more interesting because he does fully change color. He adopts a more overall brown shade, which matches a hedgehog, which he is based on, so I like that. But the color scheme in and of itself is kind of dull, if you ask me. You can have a brown shiny that looks good, but it doesn't look good for Chespin. Speaking of brown shinies, we have Chikorita. I'm not entirely sure Chikorita is meant to be brown, but for similar reasons to Charmander, I'm going to say that this coloring is far too gray. It's very beige. It's not interesting to me. It's not eye-catching. Its normal green coloring is more interesting, and I don't think that should be the case for any Pokemon. Chimchar is going to go up into the A section. Again, he's changed from like a orange color to a red color, but that's enough of a change that at a glance you can tell he's different. And it suits him. It looks right, and it keeps in with the theme of the fire monkey, so we like that. Cyndaquil, I'm going to put Cyndaquil in D with Charmander and Chikorita as well. He just looks like regular old Cyndaquil under a sepia tone. Like, that's literally what he looks like. If I didn't know any better, I would assume that my screen needed its color settings adjusted or something like that. Cyndaquil, kind of disappointing. Then we have Fennekin, and Fennekin goes all the way up to S. It has a very, very different color scheme from its usual appearance, and it still works. It's kind of ghostly, which is kind of the theme that it's going for, because it ultimately turns into Delphox, who is very witchy in appearance, so we like that. I love Fennekin. There's not a single thing wrong with Fennekin's shiny form. Then we have Froakie, and I'm seeing a theme here. This is so similar to his usual shiny form. Outside of being half a shade lighter and sparkling when he comes out of the bowl, you would never ever know that this guy is a shiny. So I actually before you'll get your undies in a twist. Yes, I know that Froakie and Charmander eventually turn into Greninja and Charizard, who have some of the coolest shiny forms ever. But we're not basing this on them, we're basing this on just their first forms. So, Then we have Grookey, and wow, same story as like exactly the same story as Froakie. If not for it being in this list, I would never have guessed that this was actually a shiny Grookey. Litten, Litten is pretty good. I'm gonna put it up in A because it is so visually different. I do not like the red matched with the white, so that's why it misses out on an S ranking. It looks very strange. Like, I feel like they could have used a lot of different colors, and I know that, like, they went for, like, the full opposite, black into white. I get it, but maybe they should have changed its whisker colors to be something a little more complementary to the white coloring, because it's very jarring to look at. I don't like it. Like, it looks like there's something wrong with my vision when I look at him. Mudkip is going to go into A section because changing from straight up blue to a straight up like magenta, purple, pink is just a very visually striking and cool change. It's vibrant, it's eye-catching, and like I'm just going to keep coming up with new words to mean pop out, but we like that. That's what we want, and it doesn't look out of the question for him to be. I like that they didn't make him pink or something to try and make him look like a salamander, like not like a light pink, but he's like this. Like, there are a few shinies that are this color, but of all of them that I can think of off the top of my head, Mudkip probably suits this color the best, so we like him. Then there is Oshawott, and I wonder if there's ever going to be one that fits between B and D, because like, it's just like, essentially at this point you can just assume that if they're in D, it's because they are too similar in appearance to their normal shiny form, and Oshawott is unfortunately in that club. I don't have much else to say on that. Piplup, same story, sorry. Popplio, these water starters, they are stubborn. I will say that. Rowlet. Rowlet is going to go up into A section because I like how it utilizes greens because it is the green starter, but he is not a predominantly green Pokemon initially. He's kind of more brown. He looks like a little owl, so he's got brown feathers and that, but they make him look green now, and it works. It's clearly a shiny, and it's visually different from its normal form. Do I like this color the best on a shiny? No, but it suits him. I don't think I would have been able to pick a better color for him, honestly. Maybe black? No, I wouldn't have done him in black. Then he would have looked like a penguin. We don't want that. We've already got a penguin. Scorbunny! Scorbunny is going to go into C section because he is different enough. He's different enough for sure, but there's not, like, if I was going to change his color, I would have changed the white, not his tips, because his tips are only cover so much. I'm sure that his other forms are more visually interesting, like Cinderace and that, but Scorbunny is just, for all intents, he's still just a little white rabbit. So he's, at a glance, you can tell he's different, and it doesn't look bad either. So there's that. Snivy. Okay, so while Snivy, by my current logic, should just go straight into D, he is actually quite a dark green compared to his initial form. So I'm going to put him in C. It suits him, and it doesn't look bad. It doesn't look bad at all. And it's just different enough. So similar to Scorbunny, I don't have much more to say about him, unfortunately. I think, like, again, I can't think of a better color to have made him, really. Maybe, honestly, I feel like, now that I say that, I think Snivy would have actually suited a nice brown color. Maybe not quite like Chespin here, but something like that. Make him like a king brown snake or something. I don't know. Sobble. Sobble is going to go into C. I'm going to keep him in C. He just looks like he's had the color settings altered on him, which, again, it's kind of in the same vein as Snivy here. He's different enough, not by a great departure. And I feel like for most of the starters, that's probably how it's meant to be. They're, in their base form, they're kind of just different enough. They are already desired and exciting by virtue of being a starter Pokemon. So I guess they are interesting enough without having a too extravagant shiny form. But it would be more. I feel like they're missing out on a lot of opportunities by just changing the hue on them by like half a millimeter or however much. Squirtle. Squirtle does not change much at all except for the color of his shell. And I don't think it looks very good, so I'm going to put him down in C. I have to rate him higher than these guys because he is visually different at a glance, so he's got that going for him. I just don't like the green. As I mentioned it before, green shinies are going to struggle with me, so sorry about it. Then we have Tepig, and Tepig is going to go into C as well. He looks very similar, more different than the average shiny starter, but I don't like. Here's how much I hate Tepig: is he could have probably actually been like bright pink or blue or something, and I still probably would have rated him low just because I do not like this Pokemon aesthetically, rain, hail, or shine. I know I said I wasn't going to be taking my general favorites into consideration, but I guess it helps in this case that it's not a good looking shiny anyway. Totodile, similar to Squirtle, he doesn't actually change much at all. He's still light blue, but the spikes on his back change from like pink-red to just dark blue, which I think is actually really cool. I believe this theme carries over into his other two forms as well. I'm actually going to say that is an A rating because it does look really cool. Like, it kind of reminds me of like an electrical theme with like the light blue and the dark blue. It's just really cool. If you had to keep your Pokemon the same color as their original in their shiny form, this is how you do it. Not like this down here. You change one really striking feature about them, and they tried to do that with Scorbunny, but it didn't hit the mark quite as well as Totodile has, so I'm going to rate him in A to exemplify that. Then we have Trico, and Trico, with his red tail and his like light blue skin, aqua-colored body, I guess, that's just solid. There's nothing wrong with Trico at all, honestly, so I'm going to keep him in B. That is a standard, I will say. It's not a high standard, but if you meet that standard, you're doing okay. Lastly on this list, we have Turtwig. Turtwig, I love Turtwig, but I am sadly going to have to put Turtwig in C section for pretty much the same reason as the rest of them. He's only a little bit different. It is a good change up, I'll say that. It's a good mix-up of the colors, but he deserved better, for sure. So, that's what I'm going to say about that. In any case, this has been my rating of the shiny forms of the Pokemon starters, or in their first form anyway. So, that's quite a long title. Let's see how I come up with a title for this one. In any case, if you enjoyed this content today, then please give the video a like and subscribe to the channel as well. Make sure to hit the bell icon, and then you can get instant updates anytime there's a new upload as well. Then you don't have to miss out on any of this awesome content, because I know you're waiting for it. In any case, comment which ones you agree with. Who would you have rated differently? Let me know. I love to read your comments. It's a great time for everyone. So, in any case, my name is Raggy Rog. Thank you very much for watching the video today, and until next time, you have a good one.